Hey everybody, it's Alan from Diabolical Inc. We are here with our Ineos Grenadier Upper Deck shelf system, and we're going to go over the installation, the parts, a couple of different options on if you've got a helper or a couple of helpers, two different ways that you can do the install on it. So real quick, the first thing is this is the main tray. It's quite large. It's about 42 wide, 22 deep. You're going to have a couple of dividers with it. This is the side frame. This is all going to come put together in your kit. This will actually be sitting inside when you unpack it. So you're going to have a left side that mounts to the upper inside of near the roof line. And then you've got a crossbar that runs across the back with a couple of spin levers that lock the tray up when it's in the flat level position. Turn those, drop it down so you can easily load with the tray hanging down. This is going to be real simple and easy. Phillips screwdriver, a 1/2-inch wrench, a 3/16 Allen head, and a 7/16 socket is the only tools that you need to put this together. And it's got very little hardware since we've already got most of it put together for you. We just make it to where it's 4 main parts that will go up into place and attach to each other and be the upper shelf system all in one. With that, you're going to get a shank bolt, a large rubber grommet, large washer, medium washer, and a nylock nut for each side that's going to go in. So what we're going to do is we're going to move the camera here in just a second to show you how this is going to go together down low. Okay, so we're going to show you this view so it's easier to understand how the parts go together. So like if you want to put this side frame up in place first, you can do that. And then when you go to put the tray in place, what you're going to do is you're going to take the shank bolt with its large washer that goes over the shank, that's the shank, and you're going to stick it through the corner hole in the front of the tray. The rubber grommet is going to go down in the middle between the two parts. And what we're going to do is we're going to just slide this into place. You can do this when it's up into place. So then you're going to come around and you'll see that it's way easier to do from the underside because it's open down here, but you're going to put the large washer on, the small washer, and then the nut on it, and you can tighten it up. You want the shank to be between the two holes in the two halves. So that way it's nice and easy as a pivot point. So that's going to go just like that. And then we'll flip this upside down in just a second and you can see how those go. Okay, so when you have the shank bolt and the large washer coming from the inside of the tray, you put the rubber grommet in between. That's perfectly sized for the shank itself. And then on the inside, which would be the underneath side of the side mounts, you'll see that the shank comes through that hole. We're going to take a large washer and put that over. So that's perfect going over the shank. Then we're going to take a small washer. That way it holds that. And then a nylock nut. And we're going to spin that on. And we're going to tighten that up. So let me grab that 3/16 socket and a wrench. If I can do this upside down and in. So I am going to stick the wrench on, and then the 3/16 Allen head, and I'm going to tighten that up. And it just needs to be hand tight because the nylock nut will hold that in place, but at the same time, this will nicely pivot and spin on the shank itself going through both pieces and with the rubber grommet in between. So now we're going to move over to this side. So we're going to take the shank bolt itself with the large washer. We're going to push it through the hole. We're going to take the round rubber grommet, go over And then we're going to lift this up into place. We're going to go to the lower hole. A future option that we're thinking about is if you want to raise it up to be more like about 5 inches available height versus 7, you might be able to move it up there if you'd like to do that. So we're going to get this lifted up, put that right through, get it centered on the shank coming through, so that when you look at it, you'll see that you've got the ability to put the large washer on, and that goes over the shank to make it nice and steady like a bearing. So then a washer, and then this nylock nut will spin on. And again, we'll take our wrench. If you want to use a socket on here, you can. And you just tighten it up. So just like that, you've got a spinning, foldable tray. So we're gonna set this back down. I'll show you a couple of other parts of this. You'll notice that we have what we call bump stops. So when you have the crossbar on, so the tray isn't bouncing as you're going down the trail, the bump stop is to keep it from moving up. And there's one on both sides, and you can adjust that by loosening the nut on the inside and adjust that up based on when you get your cross beam on. The cross beam will go on, I'll flip this around so you can see it a little bit easier. So the way that we want to do this is you're going to put a carriage bolt in from the outside so you don't see any threads, nuts and washer. You'll put that on from underneath, and you'll do this on both sides. So this will hold it in place, so when you lift up on the tray and spin the latch underneath, that holds the tray up. And if you have any gap between it and the bump stop, you can make that nice and tight by loosening the nut on the back side of the bump stop and pushing it down onto the top when you have everything together. So all I have to do now is put the nut and the washer on for the cross beam to finish this out. So if you have a couple of people to help, this is an option to be able to put this in, because all you're gonna have is 2 attach points into 2 factory mounts in the upper sidewalls on the Grenadier. So what we're gonna do is, since I only have 1 helper, we're going to we can take the tray back off and mount these individually. And just for ease of showing you on the video, we're gonna do these individually so you see how they go on. This would be the easiest way to do it if you just have a helper. If you got 2, you can decide which way works for you. But right now, I'm gonna take the tray back off. I'm gonna pop the cross beam off. I'm gonna stand it up so I can pull the shank bolts back out, because I can do that, put that into place when it's in the vehicle. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna pop off your 2 plastic covers on both sides. The forward one's got a long skinny screw in it. You're gonna take that out. We're not gonna reuse it. What we're gonna do is we're giving you a hard rubber filler that'll be sticky sided, so you'll be able to put this in, line it up with the hole there and the hole here for the backside. The backside is gonna be a shorter, fatter washer or bolt, and you got a long skinny bolt. That's gonna be the front. Take your long skinny, you're gonna put it through here. You just line it up. This is the Phillips screwdriver bolts. Take your time so you don't cross thread. There we go. And you'll see that this bracket is the shape and the angle of your interior panels. So get it a little bit snug to where it's not gonna move that much. And then you're gonna take the shorter one. It's shorter, it's larger diameter hole. And you're gonna stick it through here. That's why there's that lightning hole. So we can get that to line up. And you're just gonna screw that in and wait till you get it. This one's pretty much straight on, so you can tighten that one up. You can leave this one loose a little bit so we can adjust it till the end, because you will still have access to this to be able to tighten that up. So this one's in on this side nice and snug. This is where the tray is gonna mount and be sitting across from side to side. All right, so now you move over to the other side, put your rubber fillers in that we're gonna give you, so that helps make this nice and snug all the way across. We're gonna take the long skinny bolt, we're gonna put it through the slotted hole, line it up, feel your thread start on it, and then grab your screwdriver. Don't use a power drill, do it by hand. Take your time so you don't cross thread it, because this bolt does go in at an angle and you want to make sure that you've got it perfectly in and not cross threading. I'll take the larger bolt. Let's see if we can get this to go right in. Eureka! Okay, a little bit loose here so we can adjust. Again, this is your bump stop that's on the back side, aft side of your side mounts. And that's what's going to keep the tray from bouncing up once it's up into place. So here's the 7/16. And what we're gonna do is this is gonna go right up into place like this. Go ahead and slide a carriage bolt in. Hold that. Take the nut and washer, and this goes in from the underside. We just want to go snug with it for now also, because we want to adjust pushing this in and out so it's nice and level with the tray. You'll see what I mean as we get to that part. I'll try and stop the ratchet while I'm talking. So it's relatively snug. And we go over and we're gonna do the other side. Again, nut and washer in from the inside or the underneath. That's why we leave this open. The nice thing about the open area under here is the ability to mount a downwash light. There's so many light options out there. That would be really cool to be able to put a downwash light to give you more light in this area. Okay, but you can see we have the ability to push that out a little bit and adjust. So now when we stick the tray up here to help hold it, we can put the spin levers to hold the tray in place. So I'm gonna put those square right now. So we'll go in with the tray and drop it in and bring it in on top of those. So that way that's holding it on the back end, and I can reach over and do the same, or reach under and do the same thing that I showed you on the table with putting the shank bolt and the washer in from the tray area. And then between the two is going to be the hard rubber spacer. All right, so here we go. We're gonna push the tray in, take it in on my feet. We'll come past and back through above the spin levers. Are we good on that side, Brandon? Needs to come back a little. There we go. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the shank bolt and get it to where I can stick it through the hole, find it in here, and I'm going to take the hard rubber and I'm going to stick it on the bolt. See, this is where the gap between the two is going to be relatively tight based on getting everything into place. So we're gonna move this over, lift it up, come back just a little, and you'll wanna get it, there we go. So you can see the shank is still coming out a little bit. That's where the large washer goes on, and then the small washer and the nut goes on. And we're gonna wanna tighten this up while we can right now. So let me hold that. And I'm gonna tighten this up. There's no reason to not tighten it up. So reach in from over the top, put your Allen wrench in, and then tighten it up. You can do it with the wrench or the socket. Just watch when you're doing it with the socket to not put dents in your ceiling panel. So even with it being all the way tight, there's still movement because of the shank bolt acting like a bearing. So now I'm gonna move over to this other side, and I'm gonna do the same thing. We're gonna put the gasket on, and then we're gonna lift it up and get it to come through. See how you see a little bit of the shank showing? That's for the large washer to go over, and then the small washer and nut hold that in place at the perfect width for it to act as a hinge on both sides. I think we're good. I will take my screwdriver, hit my head, and go ahead and just tighten this top screw all the way up. Just hand tight, don't try and over torque it. Do this on both sides. You can see here that with the spin levers on, this was snug, so we don't have to adjust the inside for the bump stops. This will actually come down. You can load it like that. One thing that we're still trying to find is the right type of lanyard to connect. So I don't like steel lanyards, so we're looking at options for different kinds of bungees or anything. We don't want to do struts, as the strut will push down, and if you've got the mid-deck shelf in here, this is only going to come to right here with the mid-deck. So with this in this position with the tension off of it, I can tighten up the two carriage bolts all the way. This is your 7/16. So now this just comes up, closes, goes over on a peel and stick magnet as kind of like the rub strip on the tray itself. So again, this is the mid-deck shelf. You know, you can easily put, 30 to 50 pounds up there. We've got some really cool bags that fit perfectly. You can double them up. You can go different sizes. There's all kinds of options out there. One that we like is a local guy, the Overland Gear guy, has all kinds of bags, sizes, colors, fit perfectly with our system. He's got a Grenadier with our system in it also, so with our drawer system, and you can use all different kinds of bags to fill that out or put whatever you want up there and keep it nice and secure while you're going down the road, down the trails, overlanding, whatever you want to do. This is a great option for more gear storage from the floor up, or from a drawer up, or even including the mid-deck shelf, which the mid-deck shelf is out right now. These are the side brackets for it that are holding some of our lights, but you can see the height and everything that you have available to you. So again, this is Alan from Diabolical, and this is our Ineos Grenadier Upper Deck Shelf.